The story begins in the year 2035. By now, the world had made tremendous progress. A company named Bionics specialized in creating unique mechanical parts for people who had lost their limbs. These mechanical parts, once attached to the body, made individuals far stronger and faster than an average human. Such people were now called bionics. However, some people disliked bionics and wanted to eliminate them. The scene shifts to a man entering a bank. As he tried to go inside, a red light suddenly flashed. He explained to the security guards that his hand was made of titanium. Upon hearing this, the guards let him in. The man went into a special room where facial and eye scans unlocked all his lockers. Inside, he found 3 more mechanical arms, one of which had a hidden weapon. He replaced his existing hand with the new one and suddenly attacked everyone in the bank. Breaking into a locker, he stole some diamonds. Soon, the bank security tried to stop him, but his robotic hand was too powerful. In the ensuing fight, he overpowered them but got injured. Seizing an opportunity, he tried to escape. To avoid being caught, he took a woman hostage and used her as leverage to escape from the bank. After escaping, the man met his brother Tor. He was badly injured and admitted he couldn't go any further. Realizing he didn't have much time left, he handed the stolen diamonds to Tor and urged him to escape quickly. As the police closed in, Tor was forced to leave his brother's body behind. When the police arrived at the scene, they found the man's body and identified him as Atleta, a former boxer. Before the bionic revolution, Atleta had been a successful athlete, but his career was ruined after the advent of bionics. To acquire an expensive bionic arm, he staged a false experiment to have his right hand replaced with a robotic one. However, he was caught, and his request was denied. To operate a bionic limb, a special chip called AIM needed to be implanted in the body. Atleta had managed to steal this AIM chip from the body of a deceased disabled athlete, and it was now implanted in his head. Meanwhile, Tor arrived at a boxing academy, where he handed over the stolen diamonds to his friends. A sharp-minded guy named Gustav, also known as Uncle Hard, appeared. Tor asked why Gustav wanted to join them, to which Gustav replied that he was tired of the current circumstances and wanted to change things. Gustav inspected the diamonds and estimated they were worth at least $500,000, but the hackers helping them demanded $1 million. Tor dismissed this concern, saying he could create bionic limbs himself, as he had done for his brother Atleta, but in a different way this time. Gustav mentioned knowing someone who could help, and the two headed to meet his sister Maria in an abandoned stadium. Maria was a long-jump athlete aiming to become a world champion, following in the footsteps of her mother, who was also a champion. Maria had trained for this since childhood to one day break her mother's record. However, her sister Gabby had gotten a robotic leg and easily surpassed their mother's record. Such a long jump was impossible for a normal human. Inspired by Gabby's feat, people started opting for bionic prosthetics to enhance their strength and speed, leaving athletes like Maria overlooked. In the present, Gustav shared their plan with Maria, but she said she would discuss it later. The scene shifts to the Bionic company, run by Dario and Ricardo. Ricardo was the father of Gabby and Maria. The global demand for bionics was skyrocketing. Initially designed to aid injured soldiers, these prosthetics were now being used in sports. After the upcoming AIM chip update, the strength and speed of their robotic limbs would increase by 30%. Dario, Ricardo, and Wanda, Gabby's manager, discussed this update, excited about how it would make Gabby even faster and stronger, setting new records that would further boost the demand for their products. Maria then went to meet Tor, who was distributing drinks to the athletes. During their conversation, he shared his brother's story, explaining how Atleta's boxing career was ruined after the invention of bionics. Maria replied that competing against bionic athletes wasn't just difficult, it was impossible. She admitted having to take numerous injections just to compete, let alone win against bionic athletes. Tor suggested that Maria herself become bionic, assuring her that she could become unbeatable and the best if she did. That night, Maria saw an advertisement featuring her sister Gabby, which made her feel envious because Gabby hadn't achieved her success through hard work, but with a robotic leg. Returning home, she found her father Ricardo and Gabby hosting a party celebrating Gabby's success. A small argument broke out between Maria and Gabby. Gabby accused Maria of always being jealous of her, while Maria retorted that without their father's help, Gabby would still be struggling. Ricardo tried to intervene, but Maria, unable to contain her frustration, declared how the world had changed. Bionic athletes now jumped twice as far, leaving normal athletes irrelevant. She stormed out, leaving everyone stunned. That night, Maria played an Italian song her mother used to sing to her and sped off on her bike. Suddenly, she met with an accident and was rushed to the hospital. As darkness engulfed her vision, she regained consciousness to find Tor and her family around her. When Maria learned her right leg had been amputated, she broke down in tears. Doctors sedated her to calm her down. Meanwhile, the police were investigating Tor and his associates, suspecting them of deliberately injuring athletes to force them into getting bionic limbs. Soon, Maria received a message from Tor asking if she had received his gift. Struggling to walk, Gabby encouraged Maria to move without crutches. Maria stumbled but gathered her courage and stood up again. Gabby then handed Maria Tor's gift, a doll with a bionic prosthetic leg. This was a hint that Tor wanted to provide Maria with a bionic limb. Maria smiled at the gesture. Eventually, Maria underwent surgery to implant the AIM chip, with Dr. Dario personally overseeing the procedure. Everything went smoothly, and Maria was fitted with a new mechanical leg. Overjoyed, Maria realized she could do everything she once could and even better. She soon performed a full-speed run and leaped far into the air, only to collapse. Dr. Dario explained that her energy levels were still low and warned her that if her energy dropped to zero, she could fall into a coma. To stay fully charged, she needed at least 12 hours of sleep. Tor soon arrived, and his bond with Maria grew stronger. One day, Tor told Maria it was time for revenge. He wanted to avenge his brother and urged Maria to fight for her mother and the athletes whose hard work had been overshadowed by bionic competitors. Maria agreed, but on the condition that her brother Gustav would not be involved in their plans. In the next scene, we see a bank truck carrying a lot of money. Maria, along with Tor's team, caused the truck to crash, injuring the guards inside. Soon after, Maria threw smoke bombs to force the guards out, but suddenly, Tor killed one of the guards, leaving Maria shocked. With the police approaching, they quickly took the money and escaped. Back at the base, Maria angrily confronted Tor, yelling that this wasn't the way to get revenge. Tor explained that killing the guard was necessary because he had seen Maria's face. He added that sometimes sacrifices are necessary to win and asked, "Who would understand that better than you?" Maria then noticed her brother Gustav also present. She shouted at Tor, reminding him of his promise to keep Gustav out of all this. Tor smirked and revealed that it was Gustav who had masterminded the entire plan. They had gathered the money to pay hackers to find information about the next AIM chip delivery. Their plan was to attack the 10 athletes set to become bionic soon. Maria wasn't comfortable with this and wanted to take Gustav away, but Gustav insisted that this was just the beginning and that he wanted to stay and fight the system. Hearing this, Maria left. Soon, the police arrived at the truck crash site and, during questioning, learned from a surviving guard that one of the attackers had a bionic leg. This led the police to suspect Maria's involvement. However, the lead officer was still puzzled about why the attackers would take such a risk in front of cameras. They rechecked the footage of Maria's accident. Meanwhile, Maria was lost in thought, wondering what was happening in her life. The next morning, her sister Gabby visited her and, noticing her bionic leg, asked if everything was okay. Their father, Ricardo, arrived and announced that this year, 2 bionic athletes from their family, Maria and Gabby, would participate in the competition. He also mentioned that Biona Company was ready to sponsor Maria, making her happy, though Gabby didn't look pleased. At the stadium, a police officer noticed Gustav's tattoo of Tor during a conversation and was surprised. Tensions between Maria and Gabby escalated during training, leading Maria to hit the officer with her bionic leg when he tried to intervene. She angrily asked if he had caught the person who caused her accident, and when he said no, she scolded him for not doing his job properly. Meanwhile, Officer Hughes spoke to Ricardo's family, revealing that the vehicle involved in Maria's accident was registered to a man who was still alive and had called the police before the incident. The officer noted that the man started talking about Tor during the call. Gustav, visibly irritated, told the officer to stop dragging Tor into this. The next day, Gustav informed Tor that the police were keeping an eye on Maria. Gabby, overhearing their conversation, started investigating further. She listened to the call recording made to the police and heard their mother's favorite Italian song playing in the background. Realizing that the call was made before the accident, Gabby deduced that Maria had orchestrated the accident herself to become bionic. On the day of the competition, Gabby set a new record with a jump of 16.7 meters. Maria followed and broke her record, leaving Gabby stunned. In the next round, both sisters kept breaking their own records, but Maria continued to outperform Gabby. Meanwhile, Gustav reviewed the hacker's information and noticed Gabby was under severe stress. Dario warned her not to jump, but she didn't listen and fell flat on her face, sustaining serious injuries. Maria won the competition but faced the grim reality that Gabby might never compete again. Furious, she yelled at Ricardo, blaming him for the constant competition between the sisters. Ricardo defended himself, saying he did everything for their future. When Gabby regained consciousness, Maria was by her side. Gabby revealed that she knew Maria had deliberately caused the accident to become bionic. Meanwhile, Tor learned about the NIMT delivery and told Maria they were finally ready to change the world. Maria refused to help, angering Tor, who reminded her of the favors he had done for her, giving her the bionic leg and securing her sponsorship, which helped her set a world record. Enraged, Maria stormed out. Later, Tor's uncle and Gustav secretly drugged Maria's juice, leaving her unable to walk. Tor's uncle then kidnapped Gabby and beat up Ricardo. Maria witnessed everything but couldn't intervene. Gustav shouted at Tor to explain his actions, but Tor calmed him down, urging him to trust the plan. He then threatened Maria, saying she must cooperate if she wanted her family safe. Tor revealed his plan. Maria was to make a precise jump into the bionic building to steal a briefcase containing special chips. Following the plan, Maria successfully entered the building, defeated the security guards, and secured the briefcase. However, the police were alerted, and Dario discovered that the implants had been stolen. Reviewing CCTV footage, they saw Maria taking them. While fleeing from the police, Maria saw Tor's bike and, in anger, rammed it with her car, only to realize it was Gustav, who was now gravely injured. Tor arrived with his gang and attacked Maria, knocking her unconscious. When Maria woke up, she was tied up with her family. Tor handed the briefcase to his boss, shocking Maria, who had believed Tor wanted to change the system but realized it was all for money. Tor and his boss celebrated, finding more chips than expected, enough to create an entire bionic army. As they celebrated, Maria freed herself and kicked the table, scattering the chips everywhere. A fight broke out between Maria and Tor's gang, with Maria using her bionic strength to defeat them. Meanwhile, Gabby managed to free herself. After defeating everyone, Maria was about to kill Tor, but he stabbed her. Tor then tried to attack Gabby, but Maria, enraged, killed him. The police arrived, but Maria chose to flee. While escaping, her robotic leg got caught in some wires. An officer ordered her to surrender, but Maria removed her bionic leg and fell, severely injured. Gabby, limping on one leg, got into a nearby car and rescued Maria from the police. For the first time, the sisters felt genuine love for each other. Meanwhile, Dario found Gustav in critical condition but still alive. 6 months later, the police were still searching for the siblings. They were now running a school for disabled children in an unknown location. Dario visited and praised their work, asking how they funded everything. The scene then cuts to the sisters meeting Tor's boss, explaining that they didn't need an army of bionics and that 3 would suffice for security. The boss asked who the 3 were, and at that moment, a nearly fully bionic Gustav stepped out of the car. To test his abilities, the boss ordered his men to attack Gustav. Gustav easily defeated one thug and used his iron rod to deflect a bullet from another, grazing the boss's hat. Impressed, the boss finalized the deal. The siblings used the money from this deal for good causes. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. See you in the next video.